Round two of the World Cup group stages are in the books. Starting it off, Czechia versus South Africa. Question I got for Czechia: how do you allow South Africa to control the ball for the entire game? How does that happen? And that's honestly the reason they lost. I know they got the goal early on, and I guess that was the game plan here, just sit behind the ball the whole game. But the attrition of South Africa ends up paying off. They get the penalty, 1-1 final score. But to be honest, I do not see either of these teams making the knockout stages. It's going to be very tough for them in their remaining fixtures. Wrapping up Group A, Mexico takes the win over South Korea. Really tough on South Korea. I thought they had a great game. But Mexico, man, they were super disciplined defensively. So many times South Korea got caught in the offside trap. And to be honest, I thought this game was heading towards a draw because both teams won their first game, and with a point apiece, they would be on 4 points, both teams guaranteed to go through pretty much. But then the South Korea goalkeeper makes just an absolute horror mistake, and Mexico ends up with the 1-0 victory. This is how the group is shaken up after round number 2. Mexico on top, Czechia and South Africa tied on a point at the bottom. Czechia will face Mexico, and South Africa will face South Korea in the final round. All right, Group B, starting it off with the Switzerland domination job over Bosnia. The Swiss are back, all right? After a tough first match against Qatar, they come out here and they absolutely blitz Bosnia in the second half. I thought in that first half, man, that was a really cagey first half. Actually, 70 minutes, to be honest. But Switzerland get it done on the back of their young superstar, Manzambi. He was phenomenal off the bench. Ends up getting 2 goals in this one. And Bosnia, really, they only look threatening from set pieces. And that's really going to be their downfall in this tournament, unfortunately. Now, this is the absolute domination job. All right, Canada had this one wrapped up in the bag pretty much instantly. Qatar had absolutely nothing. And this was honestly just a big confidence builder for Canada. Really good for Jonathan David getting a hat trick in this game. Really unfortunate that they are losing Kone to injury. I believe he broke his ankle with that challenge that I forget which Qatar player, it was one of the red cards, but it was a nasty, nasty challenge. That's going to be a huge blow when it comes to making a deep run in this tournament. Canada are relying a lot on Ismail Kone in the midfield, so that's going to be really tough for them to deal with. And in Group B, here's how the group is looking. Canada and Switzerland tied at the top. They'll be facing each other actually in the next round. And then Bosnia and Qatar at the bottom tied at 1 point. They'll be facing each other as well in the final round. Moving on to Group C, starting off with Brazil 3-0 over Haiti. Honestly, this was the most unconvincing 3-0 you will probably ever see. If this was any other team than Haiti, then I could see it being a draw. At least a more favorable scoreline. I'll be honest, Brazil have clear problems in the midfield that need addressing, and they also lose Rafinha to what looked like a hamstring injury in this game, which could be a big blow for them. Haiti just had absolutely nothing offensively. Next up, Scotland 0, Morocco 1. Saibari with probably the goal of the tournament up to that point, and he was fantastic the entire match. Morocco really just got that goal early on and sat on it the entire game. Scotland could not break Morocco down. And that was the game plan. Like I said, this is a tournament team made for these kind of competitions, and sometimes you just gotta knock out a result like this, where you sit on a lead for the majority of a match. Here's how Group C is looking. There's a pretty real possibility that Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland all make it through to the knockout stages. Haiti all but eliminated. Next up, the USA take down Australia 2-0. It seemed like Australia's game plan going into this was try to get a point, try to get a 0-0 draw, because as soon as the own goal went in, I mean, Australia parked the plane. Like, they were just trying to mitigate the damage. But to be honest, the US just kind of forced the ball in. It wasn't like necessarily super pretty football, but the own goal was basically forced into the Australian net, and Freeman, again, just kind of bullies the Australian defenders to score that goal. I'm glad we have a really nice game without Christian Pulisic, and now since the U.S. have actually guaranteed top spot in this group, there's a good chance that we rest players or bench players on yellow cards or just play for 45 minutes kind of thing against Turkey. All right, now this is my game of the tournament so far. This game had everything, okay? Paraguay won, Turkey. I'm going to say Turkey because I don't want to call them Turkey anymore because of how disappointed I am in them. So we're going to say Turkey 0. My goodness, Turkey's attack was just lifeless. They had, let me see here, 32 shots. Only 5 of them were on target, and only 15 of the shots were in the box. 2 of the 15 shots in the box were on target. Just to put that into perspective, Canada against Qatar had the same amount of shots, 32, and they scored 6 goals. Turkey had 5 shots on target. Absolutely devastating for Turkey. They are out of the World Cup. They are guaranteed to finish bottom of the group now. And I mean, the only really big talking point, controversy in this game was the Almiron red card, or the new red card rule where talking to an opponent with your mouth covered is an immediate red card. That was the first time we saw it. But yeah, this game had absolutely everything. VAR craziness, an absolute golazo in the opening 5 minutes, a team defending for their life. Like, this was my game of the tournament so far. Absolutely hectic, crazy game. This is how Group D is looking. USA locked up the number 1 spot there, with Australia and Paraguay tied up on 3 points. They'll actually play each other in the final round to decide who gets second place, and then the USA faces Turkey as well in the final round. Germany 2, Cote d'Ivoire 1. I will say, man, Germany are really lucky to win this one, okay? I think Nagelsmann really has to look in the mirror when it comes to selecting this starting 11, because Dennis Undav has to start next match. He has to start. I know Germany have already guaranteed number 1 spot in this group, so maybe he won't play his full strength 11 in the last game. On the Cote d'Ivoire side, I thought Singo was absolutely incredible. He was driving from defense. He was taking on players as a defender. He couldn't put a foot wrong in that match. And Yan Diomande really was quite disappointing. I thought his first touch was off all night. Every time he received the ball, it felt like he was a bit off. The other match in Group E, oh my goodness. I mean, this is a 0-0 draw, but my gosh, was there a lot of action in this one. Similar to the Turkey game, however, I think Ecuador had better chances to score than Turkey did. And on any other given night, Ecuador probably wins this by 2 or 3 goals. But man, Curacao, wow. Their goalkeeper, Room, I think is his name, absolutely amazing goalkeeping. Keeps Curaçao's chances alive in this World Cup. And this is actually how the group is looking. Germany lock up first place, and Ecuador and Curaçao tied at 3rd and 4th spot. Curaçao is going to play Ivory Coast. Ecuador is going to play Germany. Ecuador in a must-win situation against Germany if they want to go through to the knockout rounds. On to Group F. Now, the Netherlands win against Sweden 5-1. Now, honestly, Netherlands just absolutely blitzed Sweden from the opening kickoff. Sweden looked absolutely shell-shocked in that first half. I think the real difference in this game was the Netherlands' defense, because the Netherlands' defense really stifled the chances that Sweden had. Sweden did have chances in this game, don't get me wrong, but they didn't have the amount of chances and the quality of chances that Netherlands did. Go and look at that Netherlands game again. Most of the goals were tap-ins. If Sweden ended up scoring in that first half, I think the game would have gone a lot differently. I think Netherlands may have parked the plane, as you will, a lot sooner, like Koeman usually does with this Netherlands team. But I mean, hey, Crescencio Somerville, he's starting to look like one of the breakout players of this tournament. He scores another goal off the bench. And then another huge victory, Japan 4-0 against Tunisia. I mean, this is what happens when a very, very well-managed and organized team plays a team that sacked their manager less than a week ago and is playing a completely new structure, completely new tactic setup. Every single person in this Japanese team knows what their job is. They might be missing some of their best players, but these guys are an absolute unit. And Tunisia, honestly, were just all over the place. They were playing with a new manager, new formation, new tactics, everything brand new to them. And honestly, it could have been more than 4. They did well to keep it at 4-0. This is how Group F is looking. Netherlands and Japan tied at 4 points apiece, with Sweden in 3rd. Tunisia are out of this World Cup. Japan will be playing Sweden, and Tunisia will be playing the Netherlands in this one. We'll see who ends up getting first spot in this group. Now, another big team disappointing, and this time it's Belgium again. Now, 0-0 against Iran. This game made it very clear to me that it is so important to score early in games like this, where you very much know that you're better than the opposition, but the opposition just sits in their low block and defends the whole game. It is so important to either score early or score after a break, like the hydration break or halftime, because if you let them sit in their shape, it's going to be so hard to break them down. And I'll be honest, Iran were probably the more likely to score in this game, but both goalkeepers were absolutely insane. Courtois and the Iranian goalkeeper, I don't know his name, sorry. Both of them were fantastic, and even if Belgium finished with 11 men, I honestly did not see them scoring. The other match in Group G, Egypt take down New Zealand 3-1. And I mean, Egypt honestly are not a super strong team, so going up against like a Chris Wood was really tough for them. I saw them struggle a lot, and I mean, they scored early on, New Zealand did, and Egypt was trailing in this game for quite a bit of it. And I think it was because Chris Wood just had that physical presence up top. Egypt really couldn't handle him. I think Chris Wood would start for a lot of different teams in this World Cup. At halftime, Egypt made the great adjustments that it did, the attacking adjustments, the substitutions. New Zealand, in the second half, their only threats were set pieces, hitting it up top and hoping for the best, So Egypt did really well to crawl back in this game. Salah gets his World Cup goal finally. Here is how Group G is looking, not how a lot of people drew it up. Egypt on top, and Iran and Belgium tied in second place with 2 points each. And Egypt will be playing Iran to see who tops Group G, and Belgium will be playing New Zealand. Now, Group H, starting off with Spain, 4-0 against Saudi Arabia. Spain are back. All right, Lamine Yamal off the mark at World Cup 2026. He gets his goal, and Saudi really just had absolutely nothing in this game. This was a get-right game for Spain, and they treated it as such. They put them away early and quickly, and now they got to finish the job in their final match to get top of the group, so we'll see how it goes against Uruguay. Speaking of Uruguay, my goodness, Cape Verde 2, Uruguay 2. Yeah, Cape Verde gets another draw, and honestly, Uruguay looked better than they did against Saudi, but still, massive underperformance from Uruguay. Honestly, the story of this game was both goalkeepers. Both goalkeepers wanted to lose this game. There were some huge goalkeeper errors that led to goals in this game. I really thought Uruguay were missing they really need a finisher desperately. At the very end of the game, Cape Verde arguably denied a clear penalty that would have won them the game, okay, and got them into the knockout stage. That would have been crazy. Basically, Cape Verde is the World Cup 2026 Cinderella story as of this moment in time. Everybody's rooting for Cape Verde, okay, and they will be playing Saudi Arabia in the next round. This is how the group is looking. Spain on 4, Uruguay and Cape Verde tied at 2, Saudi at 1. Cape Verde will be playing Saudi Arabia. And Uruguay, Spain, that's going to be the big one in Group H. All right, France versus Iraq. The big story here was that Mbappe did match the level that Lionel Messi had earlier on that day. Mbappe with a brace, Dembele with a goal as well. This was pretty cut and dry for France, honestly. Iraq had some spells where they had potential. They were just too few and far between to really make a difference in this game. I thought Manu Kone in the midfield for France was fantastic. This is his first start at the World Cup. But the big talking point here was, of course, the weather delay. I believe it was like thunder and lightning in the area that delayed halftime by like 2 hours. So this game actually ended up going on the same time as Norway versus Senegal. Norway taking down Senegal. This is probably the match of the week so far, other than the Paraguay-Turkey game. But honestly, big takeaway for me is that this Norway counterattack is legit. It looks like I'm watching Bodo Glimt. It makes sense that most of the team is playing for Bodo Glimt, but their counterattack is nasty. And Senegal did end up scoring 2 goals, but both the goals, they weren't super convincing. But for Senegal, the strength of this team most definitely is the midfield. I really think that midfield for Senegal is really, really strong. But realistically, the difference in this game was just the finishing ability of Erling Haaland getting Norway through in the end. And this is how Group I is looking. Now, I mean, top 2, locked and loaded. France and Norway both on 6 points. They are through. Senegal and Iraq on 0, and they will be playing each other in the next match. Now we get to talk about Messi again. All right, we get to talk about Messi again because he makes history in this game, and that is that he has missed the most penalties in World Cup history. And he also has scored the most goals in World Cup history, okay? He's the greatest of all time. Full stop, no doubt. Messi gets a brace. He's on 5 goals already. I mean, Austria had nothing for Argentina. They just couldn't break them down. And that was because the Argentina defense was just so compact, so well managed by Lionel Scaloni as well. That's why I say Argentina and Morocco especially are built for this kind of thing, because I think they're both so structurally sound teams. Moving on, Jordan, Algeria, really tough for Jordan. I really thought Jordan could get a result in this game, and it looked like it was heading that way, but man, Algeria, gritty win. And I mean, I was still impressed by Jordan, but I think the moment got to him. The bright lights did end up getting to them by the end of this match. But overall, this was a great comeback for Algeria. It keeps their hopes alive to make the knockout rounds, because this is what the table is looking like. Argentina up top, they're guaranteed to go through. Austria versus Algeria, that's a huge match in the next round. And I talk about Messi, so now I got to talk about Ronaldo. He gets his brace as well. He is off the mark in this World Cup, and this was the complete Portugal performance. This was exactly what I wanted to see from Portugal. And honestly, the biggest thing I was impressed by was their set pieces, man. Dude, they've been on the training pitch. Oh my gosh. The set piece creativity for this Portugal team was fantastic. Not just the Nuno Mendes free kick goal where Ronaldo faked like he was going to take it and Nuno Mendes took it, but also, I mean, that chip over the wall where Ronaldo almost scored. I do feel bad for Uzbekistan because they honestly had absolutely no chance. Now, Colombia versus Congo. Now, Congo survived the early onslaught in this game. I mean, Colombia, they felt like they had like 10 shots in the first 10 minutes of this game. And it left Colombia super frustrated, I thought, throughout the entire match. They ended up breaking through a quite unfortunate deflection for Congo. Munoz with the goal. But honestly, I think Congo are super tough matchup for anyone in the knockout stage. If they manage to get through, I think they have some real upset potential. This is how Group K is looking. Colombia are through to the knockout rounds. They will be playing Portugal, who are in second place, and then Congo versus Uzbekistan. That is a huge match to see if Congo can beat Uzbekistan and make it into the knockout rounds. All right, final group, Group L. England 0, Ghana 0. Huge upset. Now, I'll say Ghana defended absolutely spectacularly for 90 minutes. Was it fun to watch? No, not really. I mean, they had 11 players behind the ball the entire game, but it really exploited a real weakness in this England team, which is that they really lack the creativity in the final third. And to be honest, you got to look at Thomas Tuchel not bringing the likes of Foden, Cole Palmer. Are these the kind of players that could maybe break down a team like Ghana? And it's a similar result for England in their second tournament match. I mean, I think the last 4 tournaments now, they have drawn their second match of the group stage. So it's kind of like a good thing where England are used to this kind of thing and they can bounce back from a draw like this. It's also kind of a bad thing for England because there hasn't really changed that much. They're still doing what the old England has been doing. But honestly, I think the big talking point in this game, I think Ghana were denied a clear and obvious penalty. You can see it in the picture right here, but I mean, that's a foul, man. I think this could be a wake-up call for England. So we'll see how they get on against Panama in their next match. Talking about Panama, they end up losing to Croatia 1-0. I will say, first up, Budimir has to start for Croatia moving forward. He just has to. Croatia clearly has problems going forward, and I think it's because they don't have a real target man at the front. And Budimir, he's clearly that for Croatia. I thought also a big thing in this match, Modric was so much better in this game than he was against England. And I think moving forward, now that they have their wheels rolling a little bit, I think they'll get through. Ghana will be tough in that final game, though. Here is how that group is looking. England and Ghana tied at first with 4 points. Croatia in third with 3. Croatia will play Ghana in that last round, and England will play Panama. We'll see how that group gets on. Here is the team of the week for round 2 of the group stages. We got Room in goal, the Curacao goalkeeper, with Itakura from Japan, as well as Freeman and Singo. In the back line, we got Saibari, Manzambi, the young superstar for Switzerland. Messi, of course, got to make it in again. Nuno Mendes, I thought, was fantastic in their game against Uzbekistan. Up top, Jonathan David with the hat-trick, as well as Ronaldo and Gakpo to finish off the front line. Let me know if I missed anybody. And that's it for round 2 of the World Cup, man. Round 3, games within the group will be happening simultaneously, so there'll be 2 matches on at a time rather than just one. It's going to be a little bit tougher to watch. But of course, we are going to be watching every single game of round number 3, the final round of the group stages. We will be there.